answer right, hopefully you, for the company you burn through that cash quickly, and then you want to get back to where you were. I don't think it's, for me personally, it's not the level. It's really about my bankroll, because that's kind of what drives the competitiveness for me when I'm playing a game like Republic.
Sure, and I'll comment more generally about that, because I think I'm hoping this will answer your question a little bit more clearly from my point of view. I think that was clear about the level of things. So Mark Pincus talks publicly all the time about the games as they have pinch points. So if you think about it, if you're making a free-to-play experience, and the free-to-play experience is exactly the same and identical to somebody who's going to pay for something, clearly you're not going to get very many people to pay because there's no motivation. So what you do is you engineer your products to make sure that they have pinch points where the person has to put forth some amount of effort. First of all, as a game designer, even before I worked for social media, you always put pinch points in games. You always want people to overcome some obstacle because it gives them a sense of satisfaction and completion and accomplishment moving forward. But more importantly, in social media, you need those pinch points to be solved in one of three ways, generally. The ones that work the best are either grinding or inviting friends, viral social links, or paying. Interestingly enough, time and time again I've seen in games where they force a payment. The pinch point is literally, you can't go forward unless you pay this. Those almost never work. Even for people who pay all the time. Yeah, it's a wall, and if it's a payment wall, you even offend the people who are happy to pay. Weirdly, they won't pay because they feel like now you're forcing me to pay, I'm not going to pay. And they have it's a very negative attitude. And in fact, time and time again as a revenue PM, I having come from doing features, I was really sensitive to the fact that even though I'm building a revenue feature, I need to give the other two gates, the other two possibilities, even if they're very difficult. The idea that there are people that have decidedly, they're going to play your game, they're going to play it every single day, they're going to love the game, and they've decided they will never pay you. And you don't want to send those people away. You want them to play. You have to serve them the game because they are part of that neural network. They're part of that fabric that creates the social experience.
We totally have time for one more.
There's a question regarding the wagering game.
Yeah.
Given the importance of daily active users and the stickiness retention, how do you deal with the following two things? The fact that most sports don't have daily outcomes. And number two, there's a hiatus period when there's the end of the season.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons that we're, I think I get the question, but one of the reasons that we're focusing on the North American market is that there are a lot of games every day, meaningful games every day, sometimes 8 to 15, 16 a day. When you talk about the overlap between the NBA, the baseball season, and other college matches. So we think there's plenty of activity throughout the day. But our product too is our plans are to expand it beyond that globally, so that on a 24/7 cycle you'll be able to bet on various sporting events that are going on around the world. And that's one of the reasons that we're going to be baking in other games, other casino type games for downtime.
So otherwise it assumes that if anyone wants to bet on the NBA, they want to bet on baseball. You've got to be
exactly
everything.
I don't do sports like that. I'm certainly not the expert on sports, but I would say that if I had a business that was primarily, let's say that we were doing NFL social, you wouldn't look at DAU, you'd look at games, active users per game, right? You don't have to use the same metric that other people would. That happens to be the one we use because daily active users is, when you're looking at a game that's consistently going on, it's just a natural breaking point. But certainly if you were going to do a sport, I would say a very valid statistic is how many people you get to engage based on that particular game.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest statistics for us is going to be revenue per daily active user by sport, by genre, and really by region, to get a little bit more granular. I think that's going to be very important for us.
I think was that our last question then, or are we on time? We got one more? Okay.
In terms of monetization, do you see any recurring revenue for any premium content or for kind of retention, like VIP clubs or something inside of social games?
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
Do you see any recurring revenue? So something that is
recurring revenue?
Recurring revenue, yes.
Yeah. So in social media games, my experience is there's different types of payers. Some people pay almost on a budget, and I bet you that if you broke it down by geography and I'm actually quite certain, if you break it down by geography, it lines up with paydays and pay scales and things like that. They'll give you a little bit of money every single day. They've decided how much money they're going to give you every week, month, whatever. And so those become very recurring customers. And the death of that kind of a customer is a very painful experience. You don't want to lose those guys because they're your heart blood, you know. But as far as like systemically recurring revenues, like a subscription based, I have not seen that work. Could be that the products that I've worked on haven't really been right for subscription. Obviously, World of Warcraft and other entertainment titles do well with subscription. I have not seen that work on a Facebook environment. I think the presumption at this point for Facebook gamers of all kinds is that the game is going to be easy to get into, free, and they will be able to pay if they want to have some sort of expanded experience. And if you try to put gates in the way or any kind of subscription rates, I've just seen people react violently negatively to that. There might be some out there that break that curve. I haven't seen it. I think I'm going to do is just say thank you for all your time and everybody coming up here and listening to us. And I'm going to be around a little bit afterward. I think Matthew is just here to answer questions so that if you have them on the next speaker's